Good morning and welcome to today's episode. Oh, bit of a late start again, but not too bad. Oh, it was raining and storming last night. Pretty good for a little bit. That was nice. It's always nice when we get a good bit of rain. Oh, but yeah, now there's a lot of puddles on the road. And the small lake over here is getting pretty full. Oh, I do not have anything interesting to talk about right now. At least not anything too interesting that I can think of. Oh, I feel like I was doing good at keeping an interesting subject going for a while, and then I kind of dropped off. And so now I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh, there's this big field over here that has like a sign up that says it's like going to be a development area because there's a lot of land development going on around here because we're in the southern part of the city and it's real that's where all the expansion is happening there. Everybody's kind of moving to this part of the city, so I have a feeling in a few years it's gonna be a whole lot busier down here where we live, because right now it's kind of a bit of a suburb area where it's mainly just houses and then a couple businesses, and then we're pretty close to a large road, but that's pretty much it. Got to drive a good 10 minutes to the nearest like big grocery store, but they keep adding more and more, so I have a feeling it's gonna start getting pretty busy. Oh, but there's still a lot of empty space out here, so it's pretty nice that it's kind of expanding a little more slowly, because I think there's being a lot of empty space kept because not everyone's trying to buy the land up at once, and so people can buy a little bit bigger areas and leave some more uh, empty lots and trees and grass, that sort of thing. But oh, yeah, oh, I really do need to find a better way of coming up with conversational topics, but I was thinking of just, talking about anything I see, but that isn't as easy as it seems sometimes. You know, I'm not, I've never really understood why people are so into golf. Like, I've tried playing golf before, and it's not bad. It's just like, there's a weird culture that's developed around it where you have to kind of be wearing a specific outfit, and you have pretty much, it just seems like it's a rich people thing because they're kind of saying, oh, you have to dress a certain way, you have to go to a place that has all this nice stuff. I know a lot of people don't like golf because they don't like how much land it takes up, and that it's a very water hungry, and just like it just takes a lot of resources for something that is only usable by a few people. And I definitely kind of get those complaints because it's not really the most entertaining thing to, like, you can't go and watch it, and then you can't really go and play it unless you have hundreds of dollars to spend on golfing equipment, and that's for the cheap stuff. Like thousands of dollars if you want to get the good equipment. And people just kind of don't really seem to care uh, that it's so exclusive. They just enjoy that not everyone can do it. Whereas, like, I really feel like a sport that has a dress code that is not to do with safety is kind of ridiculous. But I don't like dress codes very much. Like, I get why they exist in like schools because you want to keep things appropriate and not have a ton of crazy distractions. And because, yeah, if somebody just comes to school wearing like a giant pinwheel on their back, that might be a little weird. But I feel like dress codes often are used to kind of try to force people to behave a certain way, not because other dress would be inappropriate or harmful in the circumstance, but because people just don't like a certain way of doing things. Because, I've seen so many dress codes where it's like, oh, you can't have hair this long. And it's like, well, like for guys, I don't like long hair on guys, but I don't think that a school should be saying that guys can only have short hair and girls can have however much hair they want. Like, that's not the job of the school to decide. If a certain length of hair is dangerous for some reason, like for a sport, or if it's something that actually needs to be addressed, then it should be addressed universally. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of things that are kind of guy or girl specific because, yeah, guys don't wear bras. And oh, but I think a lot of dress codes are just kind of overdone to kind of try and make people fit more of a certain type of dress that whoever wrote them thinks is the best, not that is actually fair or helpful in any way. But I think dress codes specifically requiring minimum fanciness might be a good way of putting it, but like anything that requires a tie to be worn, I find ridiculous because, like, what you wear does not affect your attitude. Like, jobs that require you to wear a suit and tie, if you're not customer facing at all times, then you shouldn't have to wear it, in my opinion. I think you should be able to just wear what you want, and then if you do need to dress up to interact with a customer or to uh, perform some sort of special function, then yeah, do that. But when you're just sitting in an office for 8 hours a day doing absolutely no outside communication, then you really don't have to be restricted into a certain dress, but people do it anyway. But that's all the time we got for now. So, hello and welcome back. Oh, here we go. Okay. Well, I was setting up a new computer just now, and I know I've talked about it before, but it is just ridiculous how hard they have tried to make it to set up an account without signing up to all sorts of different things. Specifically on this one, it's a Windows Pro laptop. So I am able to reset and create a user without having a Microsoft account. But that is actually not a standard thing anymore. Like, you can't just create local users to use your computer without signing up for all of Microsoft's stuff. And they have tons of these apps on there that are just like no reason you would want them. Like, they have a bunch of games on there, and it's just like, why on earth are y'all just throwing all this software on there, even though people are buying these computers? Like, this is specifically a business branded laptop, and they're still throwing all this junk on there. And it's just getting ridiculous how much they're pushing all these things. And it's not as bad as Apple yet, but it's certainly worse than it should be. Because it wasn't even that many years ago you could just boot up a Windows computer, and on first boot up you'd just create a local account real quick. That was the default. You didn't have to connect to the internet or sign up to anything. And now I have to go into the command prompt and or reset one of the BIOS settings just to start it up without internet, which is just ridiculous because just anyone who doesn't want to immediately connect an unknown computer to their network is going to have issues with that. But I think the Microsoft probably is thinking, oh, we'll do this so that nobody can create or use our software without creating an account so that we can have all of the tracking information. And they're probably just seeing it as a positive for them, and probably think if there's any businesses out there who don't want to sign up, they'll have an IT department that can do a workaround somehow. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try and take that out so that you're required to buy a Microsoft or set up a Microsoft account. Because I guess they are free still, technically. But I'm going to be required to set up a Microsoft account for every single person in your business if you want to use Windows, and Apple accounts are no better, so you can't use Macs. So everyone's going to have to learn how to use Linux, but that doesn't come installed. So you're going to have at least one Microsoft account to boot up so that you can install Linux. And I mean, you could do a kind of deband thing, I guess, but don't really want to do that on a new computer to start. But it's just ridiculous how much people these days are really pushing to essentially require you to be constantly tracked if you're using anything they sell. They don't want to sell you stuff anymore. They want you to pay for a subscription because it gets them more money in the long run. And it lets them control every aspect of the device so that they don't have to worry about other businesses taking some of their business from them, because you have to use their system, and if they don't like something, they can just delete it from your computer. Oh, I'm just getting more and more annoyed with technology companies especially, but just every company these days seems like they're pushing more and more into gathering your information and keeping you connected to their individual network so that they can control more and more of what you're doing with their product. And buying something doesn't feel like enough to guarantee that you own it anymore. I know there's a big deal going on about the with Nintendo right now with the Switch 2, where apparently they're not allowing even used games to be purchased. Like, you either have to purchase a game new or not purchase it at all. And Nintendo is also notorious for not putting their games on sale. So they're pretty much saying, if you can't afford our games new, then you shouldn't be allowed to play them. And it's just really not sitting well with me. I don't think that I am going to buy any more Nintendo's products going forward unless they start changing stuff like that, because I don't want to spend hundreds or even up to $1,000 on a system and games for that system if Nintendo can just look at it and decide one day, well, I don't like the way you're using this, or, oh, you want to play a way that I don't approve of? Well, now your entire console is being destroyed, even though I paid for that console and should not have to keep it updated. But more and more, I'm just thinking, need to disconnect more stuff from the internet. Of course, I say that while I'm actively publishing my everyday thoughts on the internet, which is, I guess it's somewhat ironic, but I still just feel like once you buy something, you ought to own it. You shouldn't need approval from whoever you bought it from to use it beyond the initial purchase. And like, if you, especially with hardware like that, if you buy a piece of hardware, you should be able to just do whatever you want to it because you own it now. You're not leasing it, you own it. So you should be able to delete the software if you want and put on your own. And I'm not saying that they need to make that a very easy inbuilt option, but they shouldn't break your hardware because they don't like what you're doing with the software. Even like if it's against their terms and conditions, sure, disable that one thing as stated in the terms and conditions, but if their software requires you to give over control of the hardware, then I don't want to use that software. Oh. But I really just think it's getting increasingly anti-consumer in the technology industry. They're just kind of making all these business-based decisions that harm the end consumer because it helps their business, which should be where kind of antitrust government activity comes in, but that's been incredibly deteriorated over the recent years, and it has just not been keeping up with software and the whole idea of licensing, that kind of stuff. Because software is a tricky kind of thing, because if you get updates to it, then it's a live service, in which case they can do more. But if you buy it as a one-time license and then they offer free updates that are not required as part of that, if you buy the license and have the product and are not required to update it as part of the agreement, then there is no way you should be able to have your information taken because they have changed some of their own policies. But that's all the time we have for now, so I'll continue this later. Oh, and hopefully get that computer set up without too much trouble. Oh, okay, we're back. I literally just had a thought about what I was going to talk about, and then the second I started the car, it just completely left me. I think my brain is actively trying to forget things at this point, because I really can't remember what it was now. I might also just be a little scatterbrained, but oh well. Oh. Here we go. On the road again. Oh, do, 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 do. I am definitely needing to start remembering different things, but I guess I could just sing and be happy, which is the name of a song that I like to sing. I think I sang it before, but if the skies above you are gray, you are feeling so blue. If your cares and burdens seem great all the whole day through, there's a silver lining that shines in the heavenly land. Look by faith and see it, my friend. Trust in his promises grand. Sing and you gotta sing and but I started singing the bass part on the chorus, which is not the melody, and now I completely lost the whole thing. You gotta sing and be happy. No, I don't know the melody for the chorus actually. That's weird. I didn't think about that, but I only know the uh, tenor and bass part. And there's a melody that the altos sing, and I do not know it even a little bit. Huh, that's interesting. I really didn't know that I didn't know that part of the song. Anyways, oh, if those skies above you are gray, you are feeling so blue. If your cares and burdens seem great all the whole day through, there's a silver lining that shines way up in heaven's fair sky. Look by faith and see it, my friend. That was the second verse. I'm just out of it today, I guess. I just can't get a handle on it. Yeah, well, we'll sing something else. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, Lord, and I will follow you all of my days. And I will follow you all of my days, and I will follow you all of my days, and step by step you'll lead me, Lord, and I will follow you all of my days. Oh, there's a song I thought of, but I can't think of the start. Let's see if I can piece it together. Let's see. So, only you came to the earth you created. So it's called "Here I Am to Worship." Because the chorus goes, "Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether holy. altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Humbly you came to the earth you created, all for love's sake became poor. Jesus, hands on Son, Holy Lamb of God, Messiah, chosen one. Thank you, Lord. I'm getting like bits and pieces of all these songs, but I can't really remember them distinctly. I'm really trying to remember all of them, but I think it's hard for me to start with no reference at all sometimes, especially on songs I only sing every once in a while. There's one song that was real popular back in the early 2010s that we always sing. Gotta go. It's like got a few different versions, but there's a version that's got like a kind of spoken bit that's fun if you can remember it, but it wasn't always sung because it was only in some versions of the song, and so a lot of people didn't know it. But let's see, how's that one start? He is mighty, and he is true. No, you are holy, and you are true. He is mighty, and he will rule. So bow before him and praise his name. My Jesus Christ forever reigns. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. And there's another part that goes with that. So let's see. Oh, I can't remember the spoken word part that goes after that. Maybe if I just keep singing them, I'll kind of get more parts of these songs memorized and remember them better. I really enjoy singing them. I haven't led singing at our church, and I don't know if I want to really lead it because as you could tell, I don't always remember all the parts of the songs. But then also on top of that, I just have a harder time. Like I don't know how to do the conducting for a large group, and so I'm just not as confident in my skill there. And there's a lot of people at our church who are very good at it, so I don't really want to take it from any of them. At my parents' church, when we go to visit, I would be good leading singing there because they don't really have anyone who does the singing like with the uh, proper conducting and any of that. They just kind of, the song leader just kind of gets up and sings, and sometimes shows a beat with his hand. But I also just don't love being in front of large crowds. Like, sometimes I feel like I kind of want to do some more of that, or like I'd like to lead it, or like uh, give the meditation talk. So I go to the Church of Christ, and so the way it usually kind of goes is there's a cappella singing and then some prayers. Every congregation's different, but most congregations have a meditation talk, then uh, prayer for the Lord's Supper, and then some more singing, then then they have the like preacher, and then invitation song and more singing. So it's kind of the structure I'm used to. And I definitely don't think I'm going to be a preacher. And I don't know if I could do that. I don't feel like I have enough to say about everything for that. But I think I could do the meditation for the Lord's Supper, because I think I do have a lot of good things to say, but I just get nervous about it, and then I don't really want to ask, like, hey, can I do this? But there are some times I think I could do some of this stuff, and I'm not great at leading singing, so I probably won't ever volunteer for that, since there's people who are a lot better, unless I do it somewhere else first and kind of get the hang of the whole conducting business. But I think that it'll just be something I kind of work on for the future, trying to do a bit more, because I really do want to be involved. It's just very difficult to push yourself to do that, especially when you see so many people doing a great job of it all around you. You just feel like you can never measure up to their example. But I guess the point is that you don't really need to. You need to just talk to God, because that's what it's all about. But that is all the time that I have for right now. So I'll be back with part 4 after a while. Hello and welcome back to the final part of today's podcast. Oh, I had a super busy afternoon, and I'm low on gas, so we'll get a little bit of an extra helping. Even though I feel like I ain't got as much to say as I oughta. Still plenty to do. I was thinking that I might be able to have a headphone in and listen to music while I record the podcast without recording the music. And I think that might be the solution to why I keep forgetting the lyrics to these songs, because I could play them just on my earbud, and that will not be caught by the mic, and the mic will override the earbud mic, so it'll all work out. I'll have to test that out and see if it works, but that would be more for the country songs that I don't know as well, a cappella wise. but that was something that might work. I got so busy that I have just like completely forgotten everything I was planning on doing again. And I keep just not feeling like I have time to get stuff done because I kind of want to make videos out of it. But because I want to make videos out of it, I'm kind of putting it off till I can do a lot at once. But that's kind of causing its own issues. So I was actually looking and I realized, my phone has much better video quality than the camera I was using. So I can just use my phone and record the videos on there. And then the audio and video quality will be much better than they would be if I was using the old 2012 camera. So I'm going to start doing that. And I could also use that to create vertical videos to do short form kind of updates on the content. And that might be a little easier to do just in little short segments. That way I don't have to focus on these super long updates, and maybe I can just make some shorter ones and then out of those create kind of a longer compilation to show the long-term evolution of the project. So I think that's an idea I might take and run with, trying that out and doing more of that new style of short form content as opposed to the longer form content that I prefer watching. Because even though I prefer the long form, I know the short form does tend to be a little more widespread and might do a better job of picking up attention or just getting people to watch the videos. I'm still debating on whether or not to have a separate podcast channel or if I want to just throw it all on the same channel and not care about statistics of it, which I'm kind of leaning toward that option right now, at least getting started, and maybe I'll do something different in the future. But for now, starting the podcast out on the same channel as everything else, I think is going to be my preferred method. And so now I need to just figure out what I kind of want to do. So some ideas I had that I've spoken about some of these before, but like all the ideas I spoke about before, I still want to do. But then with the more short form, I was thinking I could just do a display of a single squad or type of unit at a time. So like I've been wanting to make videos showcasing my fully painted units and armies for Legion, and so one method I could use to do that is make a short video showcasing a single unit, and then like I have 3 units of snow troopers for the Imperials, so I could do all those as a single kind of video since they're all painted in the same style. And then I could do the same with like my B1 battle droids, because I have tons of them and they're all the same. And then maybe do one broader overview with the army. But I don't know if I should like how to showcase them best, because I could do a little just video showing them off with maybe a little music or something showing off in the background, or I could do a or I could like show the paint and describe the technique I used, or I could just take a video and kind of combine the two. I'm not opposed to background music, but I prefer to just uh, talk about what's actually happening. I don't really want to go through too much effort, especially for some more short form content. But I think that's a pretty kind of like describing how I did it is good because it might help introduce people more to the painting techniques I use. But yeah, I need to figure out kind of what my overall plan is and if I want to do short, long, or both. Because I'd like to get into some more unique videos, but I just do not think I have the time to do those along with all my other hobbies. And so short form might be the way to go. And also, that may having the shorts promoted separately from the podcast might do better, whereas the long form content would be promoted alongside the podcasts. And so having the podcast might be a detriment in that sense uh, to the channel's performance. And I'm not really, I don't feel like I care about that, but I keep coming back to it because I just know that people with podcasts have said that they have to keep them separate because if they don't, it impacts the performance of their regular videos due to people not enjoying podcasts as much on average. And so I think that might be something just to keep in mind. But maybe if I do the short, because the shorts are kept separate, like the subscribers combine, but like your shorts get recommended based on other shorts people watch and things like that, whereas your long content gets promoted based on all long content, doing videos and podcasts, because podcasts are just a subtype of videos, which I really do feel like that should be a entirely separate category in the same way that shorts are. That way people can kind of keep everything in the same channel and shouldn't have to worry about how it's done as much. But I think, as far as I can tell, the only thing that the podcast designation does is allow it to be played on YouTube Music, whereas the shorts has a separate kind of way of being done. I think the problem is like I have all these ideas and I find them interesting, but I don't know how to edit and I don't have the time to edit and I don't have the money to pay for an editor. So it's just kind of like, I don't know if I have the ability to do that currently because of all those different factors. I'd really like to be able to have somebody else edit it, but I don't know if that's something that's going to be feasible because the only other people I would consider including would be my family, and I don't want to kind of drag them into something that they're not going to enjoy. And I think my wife would maybe be into it, but she hasn't less experience than I do with editing software. And so I don't know if she would be able to get into that as much. Maybe she could learn it because she's been wanting to do something from home more. So that is an idea of what she could do if she wants to. Oh, just have to stop off and get some gas. Oh, okay, we're back. Sorry about that little pause there, but somebody just pulled up right next to me while I was getting gas, and I don't ever want to be one of those people who just randomly records in public because they can. I feel like even though there's nothing illegal or really wrong about just recording yourself and happening to catch people in the background, I do prefer to let people keep their privacy. So I tend to only record when I know it's going to be just me getting captured in the whatever media I'm recording. But now, here we go. Now I'm full of gas, so and so's my car. Little dad joke for you. Oh, I like the term dad joke just because everybody knows what it means, but it's just like those silly little jokes. I think add a lot of fun, even if they're dumb and not always the best jokes. They add a little bit of humor, and they're meant to be kind of silly and dumb. And I love calling them dad jokes because I'm a dad, and so it gives that kind of fun little attitude towards it when you need it. Oh, but yeah, going back to the whole recording thing, that is one thing I don't just dislike recording in public because you might record somebody who doesn't want to be recorded. I also just don't enjoy the stares and glares you get because people just feel like you're interrupting their day and inconveniencing them. I try not to do that when people are recording, but sometimes you just can't help but look. So, all right, I'm done for today. So, see y'all next time.